blessed day to all of you who are here with us in the shrine, and also those who are joining us through this live stream. One of the concerns of Lent is to accompany two groups, important groups in the church. One, those who are preparing for baptism, what we call the catechumens. This is the last stretch of their preparations. And secondly, for the reconciliation of the penitents, or what we call the sinners who would like to be reconciled to God and with the church. So with this concern, we understand therefore one of the catechesis, the preparations, the themes proposed during this period is that of what is the form of true worship? Ano bang tunay na pagsamba? In the tradition of Israel, we have, for example, the Israelites, a very detailed, very important part of their life is the ritual aspect of this worship, of Holocaust, of offering, etc. And we have a system, they have a system so well placed there. But here we find Jesus declaring today that the two worship expressed by two persons, we see here that the underlying spirit that should animate a true worship to God is that of love. A worship that is not sustained by this, we have to doubt it, or maybe we have to be critical about it. And that is what Jesus presents in the gospel today, as beautifully expressed also in the first reading and the responsorial psalm. God said, "It is mercy I desire, not sacrifice." So we come then therefore to this realization that to worship God with all the elements of beautiful ritual, which per se are parts of our worship, just as we do, for example, in our Mass, in our sacraments, it is filled with rituals. But if the underlying current that should sustain it, and that is love, is missing, our worship to God would also be missing something essential. As Jesus would tell us today, that the person with that humility, with that awareness of his own sinfulness, of his own difficulties, and humbly accepting this, that Jesus would say that this went home justified, meaning that with that spirit he could please God. On the other hand, that person who prayed, as the gospel would say, he did not pray actually to God, but he prayed telling to himself how good he is, that I am assured that God will be receiving me because I am doing all things that God is asking me to do. So I am assured that I am well, very well before God. This is the person who was not justified, Jesus said. In other words, our relationship with God, our worship has its core in our appreciation for God, for others, our care for others, and also in having this ultimately love towards Him and towards others. As we come to worship God in the Mass, in our celebrations, let this be this attitude of humility and openness guide us, that we come not with our own merits, that we can boast before God that I am good, that I am doing this good things. Sometimes we boast of, I do not do anything bad, Father. Sometimes they would say, but maybe we are so full also of ourselves that there is no really space for God in our lives. We ask then the Lord that we may continue, that we may learn this openness, this humility before God, just as this was the way the publican, the sinner, the public sinner pleased God with his recognition of his need for mercy, for salvation. As we continue our journey, Lenten journey, may we grow in the spirit of humility and allowing God to bless us with His love and mercy. This is what God pleases, what God is pleased in our relationship with Him. Amen.